Hello, everyone. This is What Culture, and casting towards type, we are doing more Endgame content because...
Is there anything else in life?
I think that's what we're going to do forever now, maybe, I think. And one of the things that we haven't really touched upon yet in any of our videos has been the future of the MCU. We've dissected the ending quite a bit. Obviously, massive spoilers ahead. If you haven't watched Endgame, please do look away now, because we're going to talk about all the spoilery things, including the ending, who lives, who dies, who tells each one's story. And so the future of Marvel after this film is kind of been very, very vague, I would say, Si. We had lots of promises that Phase 4 will be, quote, distinctly different.
Yes.
We thought that Spider-Man Far From Home would be the first Phase 4 film, but we've now learned that it's actually the real ending of Phase 3. Oh, God.
The real ending.
It makes my brain hurt. Basically, what we thought we'd do today is kind of run down all the films that have been confirmed and all the films that could come afterwards. So I've compiled a handy list of all my hopes and dreams. Mainly stuff that I think will happen, not necessarily stuff that I think I want to happen.
Right.
So it's mainly stuff that I think definitely has a good chance of happening.
Okay.
So we'll kick off first. Obviously, got Far From Home.
Good.
We know that's coming. The Black Widow prequel, we know that's coming. I think none of these have got official dates yet, Si, but I think that'll be 2020.
I would think so, yeah.
And then The Eternals, that's probably nailed on for a 2020 release as well, probably towards the back end.
Tell me what the Eternals are.
So The Eternals, created by Jack Kirby. Basically, he left Marvel in the 60s to go to DC. He created something called the Fourth World Saga, The New Gods. DC announced the New Gods film. Marvel were like, oh God, that sounds like a really good idea. Funnily enough, Jack Kirby came back to Marvel in the 70s to do The Eternals, which is basically like the New Gods, but maybe not as good, but still really interesting. And Angelina Jolie is apparently in talks to play the lead of that film coming out. It's going to be a prequel set thousands of years in the past. So, yeah.
Sure.
And that's about all we know.
Another origin story, but for the universe.
It's when you're talking about distinctly different from the MCU now, that is like...
That would be good. I'd like that. Because I think one of the things that I would love them to do is to take a break anyway, but I like even their thematic break is good, or like a story, like, a timeline break. Lols, the amount of timelines that we've talked about, but yes.
Yeah. If you thought that Phase 3 was pretty cosmic and that the Infinity Saga, that is just like scratching the surface. The stuff that Kirby did when he was in his prime is just the most bonkers, off-the-wall stuff ever. And the Eternals kind of exemplify that. So I'm really excited to see that. After that, we got Shang-Chi. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, Si, are there definitely 3 films coming out in 2020, or is it just 2?
So far, it looks like 20. 20. Like 3.
Yeah.
You wouldn't think that Marvel would change the model that's been working for them for so long. And the release windows that they have work really well for them, so I would say yes.
I think people need a break. So, it saves that. Plus, I love my comics, and I barely know who Shang-Chi is.
Shang-Chi, yes. It's really cool. Basically, kind of, Marvel had the license to Fu Manchu, who's a horrible kind of just awful character, like classic, like awful villain. And then Shang-Chi kind of stemmed from that. So he's the son of Fu Manchu in the comics. I think they're probably going to retcon this. I think the immediate reports that Deadline did after this said they wanted this to be kind of like Black Panther, but for Asian audiences, which sounds really cool. And basically everything that Iron Fist should have been. Which again, can only be a plus, because there's so much potential in terms of seeing new genres in the MCU. Obviously, we focus so much on the cosmic stuff in Phase 2 and 3. Now I get a chance to see supernatural stuff more, maybe even a little bit of horror stuff, potentially the Doctor Strange sequel. I would potentially with that. Next up, Guardians 3. We don't know when...
Asgardians 3.
Asgardians the Galaxy. We don't know when specifically that's coming out. Obviously, the James Gunn stuff has basically thrown a big old
he's got to make this Suicide Squad before he can get even anywhere near that. So it's going to be a couple of years at least, I would say.
The Guardian stuff, obviously the end of Endgame had the whole... He seems like he's searching. Seems like it's going to be Gamora. So, I don't know. I guess that just lets them reset and have some more fun with Quill and Gamora.
I mean, that's the interesting thing as well, because obviously Gunn would have to have been involved in Endgame to plan the whole Thor joining the team to go forward into the third entry. And regarding Gamora, is this going to be Soulstone Gamora from Infinity War, or is it going to be, because we kind of don't know what happens to the Gamora of...
She just kind of disappears.
She's gone to find herself. And it's like, she didn't like Peter Quill so much that she has basically
give him a good knee in. But the thing is, Nebula is standing right next to her, and so all Quill needs to do is turn around and go, "Where you was right there? Where did she go?"
Spend a whole movie looking for her.
Yeah, balls to your software searching thing. So I'm hoping Nebula
gets the Galaxy, really cool. A fairly recent concept in the comics, but I would really like them to see introduced more Asgardians to this, because currently in the comics in that series, Thor's sister, Angela. She
No
was
idea.
originally an Image Comics character from Spawn, and then Marvel bought the rights, and she's actually Thor's other sister. So basically, like Hela, but good and not Kate Blanchett.
I also think, considering the whole, I absolutely adore Ragnarok. That kind of saved Thor in general in terms of his movies. But that's the thing. If they do a half Thor movie with the Guardians, literally, I'd love it if they called it as Guardians of the Galaxy. And you can kind of do a little bit more with Thor. You can kind of pick up where they left off in Endgame, and I don't know, sort him out, kind of thing, get him back on the right track.
I'd quite like to get Korg and Meek in that. Yeah. If you can't get anybody else, you have to put them in.
Yeah. I mean, I think that kind of segues nicely into sequels, because so far Phase 4 kind of sounds almost like a proto Phase 1. Like, you know, being introduced to so many new different characters, it is almost like they're hitting the reset button, but carrying forward all the history that we've developed so far. So Doctor Strange 2 and Black Panther 2, they're both confirmed.
Ryan Coogler said he would love to do it.
Scott Derrickson seems all but confirmed to come back for Doctor Strange 2, and I would really, really like this one to like kind of lean into the horror elements a little bit more.
I would hope so, yeah. I mean, obviously they have the Mordo storyline, but that doesn't necessarily need to be the chief focus of this film. They can do something else entirely and just have him pop up, make him be another Loki, where he's a big enough villain in the comics, and Chiwetel Ejiofor is a brilliant actor. Bring him back as much as you can for me.
That's a good shout. I really like the way that they've sort of, over the years, over the last 11 years, they've sort of teased and expanded what superhero film can be. Like, eventually, the idea of a quantum realm, or the idea of like all the way that the visuals worked in Doctor Strange. Like, you know, even 5 years ago, that would be like too much or whatever. Whereas I think all those things are accepted, even multiple timelines and whatever. So I would love Doctor Strange to get really crazy.
Really scary.
Give me like a whole movie with the color palette and those kaleidoscopic visuals from the very end. Give me a whole thing like that.
My hopes and dreams for this film really is to kind of lead into I want to see supernatural stuff in the MCU going forward, and if that opens up the door to like stuff with Dracula or Blade or Ghost Rider, I would really, really like all of that.
Marvel Zombies
as well.
Give me a please.
Black Panther 2, kind of, very cut and dry. My personal kind of thought for this one is maybe we get some more cosmic stuff with Black Panther, because recently in the comics it's been leaning into the whole cosmic history of the nation with the intergalactic empire of Wakanda. But I think all signs point towards T'Challa being front and center to the Avengers.
Well, the thing that I loved in Panther was all the throne room type stuff. They're like, you know, what are Wakanda's needs versus like the needs of the rest of the world, and obviously like that ended with him, you know, saying we will try and support the rest of the world.
They've still got to pick that up.
Yeah.
I think it would as much as it would be great to see more cosmic stuff. From a brand point of view, it would be a mistake to move away from Wakanda because of how much people loved that.
Carrying on very quickly, Thor 4.
The fourth Thor.
Valkyrie as the lead.
That'd be cool.
That's kind of what I personally think. Like, obviously, all those other films are kind of pretty much confirmed. The only thing we know of another Thor film so far is that Tessa Thompson mentioned to Time magazine, I think it was, that Marvel had been pitching for a new Thor film with Taika Waititi. And to me, that kind of maybe signals that we're going to get a new Asgard film set on New Asgard, I guess, with Valkyrie as the Queen of Asgard.
Yeah, like obviously where she's left in the end of Endgame is in charge of Asgard. I would like them to take that little seaside version of Asgard and build it back up with her at the front. Like, that would be a great vehicle for her as well.
Call it Siege, cowards.
Siege.
Why Siege?
Because that is a storyline in the comics where Norman Osborn becomes the head of Hammer, which was S.H.I.E.L.D., but then he called it Hammer because it sounds more fascistic. And then basically does a false flag attack to justify invading Asgard. There's a big battle that ensues, and Captain America comes back from the dead in that film. Next up, we've got Ant-Man 3. I think that'll be Ant-Man and the Wasp. And my personal hope for that is that that leads them into trying to bring the band back together with the Avengers, because in the comics it's actually Ant-Man and the Wasp who do that.
It would be great for them to be more integral to the Avengers.
I really like Wasp. I want to see way more Wasp.
After that, Captain Marvel 2. Again,
inevitable.
Kamala Khan, I would love to see as Ms. Marvel in that, and then also Monica Rambeau as well, because obviously they kind of teased her character becoming Photon in the comics. So I would really like to see that going forward and really lean into those, Captain Marvel as an intergalactic ambassador going through the stars. Maybe even found Alpha Flight. I don't know, that would be pretty cool.
The thing that I adored the most in Captain Marvel was the very beginning, when you just got to see all the intergalactic wars between the Kree and the Skrull. And I would love to see just her drop into a planet and just get involved in something, like, just because you have free reign. She's all over the galaxy.
She can do pretty much anything. I still think we'll get more Kree Skrull.
Yeah.
Right,
If they don't, then they've done a massive disservice to Ronan.
I think definitely they tease the Skrulls as a returning force in one brief shot in Captain Marvel. We're kind of just going to skip ahead because I know Spider-Man 3 is a given as well.
Ooh, yeah.
I'm thinking that roundabout 2023 possibly. And then I think the next time we see the Avengers in a proper Avengers film will be around 2023 as well, with the new Captain America, with the introduction of the young Avengers like Cassie Lang. They have been screaming that transition into stature for since Ant-Man and the Wasp. They kind of just telegraph it so much there. And then you have the time jump in Endgame, which is much older. So I think that's probably a good shot. Maybe we'll see Kate Bishop Hawkeye from the Hawkeye TV show.
What do you think for, because 2023 is the year that we left them off in terms of where the canon is, but until Endgame, all the movies were pretty,
it makes my head hurt.
All the movies were pretty much lining up with the year that they were released in, but obviously that kind of went a bit skew with. Do you think that they'll just keep going with a 5-year gap? Because then it therefore lines up if we have another Avengers in our 2023, which lines up with when they left it off. So
it gives them a bit of freedom in that they don't ever have to justify what year they're in, because they've had some problems with that in the past.
Yeah, getting away from that might actually benefit them.
Just let them have the freedom to.
Not to dwell on that too much, moving ahead to stuff that I think might happen. Kind of just list off these names and you guys can focus on which one you think is interesting. Because in the interest of time, Captain America 4, I think...
Oh, God, yeah, of course.
Obviously, we have the Captain America and Winter Soldier TV show coming out. I refuse to call it Winter Soldier and Falcon because he's Captain America now. So obviously...
And he's also not the Winter Soldier.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's Bucky and Cap.
Yeah,
should be called.
And Cap. A-Force, which I think they kind of had the little A-Force moment in Endgame.
Yep.
That was a short-lived series that came out in 2015 for Secret Wars, where it was basically all of like Marvel's like leading ladies coming together to do an awesome.
It'll be great. I mean, it's a massive marketing opportunity for something that's different. They're looking for different.
Yeah. They want people talking about that shot as well. Like it's very well composed, and it is literally one of those moments where you go, "Oh man, there's so much potential here."
I would never expect Pepper Potts to be in it though, because Rescue can't come back. As much as Rescue is great,
I think Gwyneth's just done with it, isn't she?
Yeah,
Big Gwyn.
And it would be a betrayal to Tony Stark for his wife to just
very true.
And then after that, potentially, we've already mentioned the Blade reboot, Ghost Rider reboot, Nova. Personally, I really want to see Namor. Namor, I know the rights. I know the rights are all squiffy with Universal and Marvel Studios, but Namor could be a new Loki. You could have a Black Panther film about Wakanda going to war with Atlantis, and you could have all that going in, and then maybe we know that Adam McKay is also kind of in talks about to do Silver Surfer, but whether that's Phase 4 or 5, I don't know. We're running out of time anyway. I want to know what you guys, what films do you kind of want to see going forward in Phase 4, 5, and beyond? Please let us know down in the comments below. Like, share, and subscribe. And head back on over to whatculture.com where we've got more lists, news, articles, videos.
Endgame.
Every single thing.
As always, I've been Ewan.
I've been Scott. I'm coming in.
I was Simon.
We'll see you next time.
Bye.